Stop and listen. This isn't a coincidence, this is a spiritual breach. Archangel Michael says, someone in your family has used your name in a dark ritual of envy. Every word spoken against you has been recorded in the spiritual realm. You have 30 seconds to hear this message, or the doorway they opened will begin to close on you. Heaven is screaming, do not run, stand in the light, and I will expose the hand behind it. You felt it for days, the sudden heaviness in your chest, the strange dreams, the sense that someone was watching from behind unseen curtains. But this time, it wasn't paranoia. Heaven had been trying to warn you. That evening the lights flickered. Your phone buzzed though no message appeared. And in that crackle of silence, a voice unlike any other spoke within you, deep, thunderous, pure. My beloved child, Archangel Michael said, your name has been whispered into a ritual of envy. A woman bound by jealousy has given your spirit's frequency to dark forces, hoping to tie your blessings to her own misfortune. But I, the defender of truth, have intercepted it. A cold wind passed through the room. The temperature dropped, yet a circle of golden fire formed around your feet, Michael's shield. Fear not, he continued. What darkness tries to steal, heaven can redeem. You have 30 breaths to awaken fully, to remember who you are. Say nothing. Just listen. You closed your eyes. Behind your eyelids, you saw flashes, memories of arguments, tears, the weight of betrayal. Then you saw her face. It wasn't hatred that burned there, it was fear. She had sought help from forces she didn't understand. She does not know what she has done, Michael said. But ignorance does not cancel consequence. The energy she released is seeking its target, your name. Yet names belong to God, not to those who curse them. The angel lifted his sword, its blade made of living flame. He struck the ground once, and the air split with a sound like glass breaking underwater. The cord is broken, he declared. The contract void. Your name returns to you sealed in light. A rush of air surged through the room, knocking over a candle, but the flame did not die, it burned blue. You felt something unwind from your chest, like invisible vines releasing their grip. Now listen, Michael said again. You must forgive the one who did this. Not to free her, but to keep your light untainted. Unforgiveness is the second snare of darkness. The first binds, the second feeds. You whispered, I forgive her. The circle around you expanded, filling the room with warmth so intense it almost hummed. Every shadow retreated. The angel's voice softened. It is done. The darkness that carried your name has lost its map. It will wander until it dissolves. You are restored. Then his final instruction came, simple, commanding, and full of love. Do not fear her. Pray for her. Let heaven handle the justice. Keep your thoughts clean, your speech gentle, and your faith strong. You are beyond reach. The wind ceased. The candle flickered once more, then steadied, its flame returning to calm gold. You breathed deeply for the first time in days. Heaven says, no curse can claim the name written in light. When you forgive, the chain breaks. Tap like if you felt this protection, subscribe for more Archangel Michael messages, and comment, "My name belongs to God." Because once heaven seals you, even darkness forgets your address. The following morning felt unusually quiet, almost unnaturally still. The light that filtered through your window wasn't ordinary sunlight, it shimmered faintly, as if carrying a message. You stood, still wrapped in the warmth of last night's deliverance, but there was something in the air, unfinished. You closed your eyes, and immediately, a low hum filled the space around you. The sound wasn't from the earth, it came from within. And then, Archangel Michael's voice spoke, calm but filled with divine authority. "Beloved child of light," he said, "the curse is broken, but the shadow that birthed it still lingers. You must see the truth, not to fear it, but to finish it." The air around you rippled. The room faded, and suddenly you were standing in a place that seemed both familiar and foreign, a vast expanse of silver mist, swirling like liquid memory. At the center stood a mirror taller than the sky itself, its surface alive, reflecting not your body, but your spirit. "This is the mirror of origins," Michael said, stepping beside you. "It does not show who attacked you, it shows why." You stared into the surface, and images began to form: family dinners, old conversations, smiles that carried invisible tension. Then you saw her, the woman Michael had spoken of. Her eyes were filled not with malice, but with exhaustion. You could see what heaven saw: a soul chained by envy, fear, and self-loathing. "She did not curse you because she hated you," Michael said. "She cursed you because she forgot her own worth." Dark forces feast on insecurity, not evil. You felt compassion rising within you, unexpected, pure, luminous. The anger you had carried dissolved like dust in water. You whispered, "I forgive her again, completely." The mirror responded instantly. The mist turned golden. The woman's image faded into light, and from the sky above, you saw cords of darkness, thin, writhing, detached from your family's bloodline and burned to ash. "You have just broken what generations could not," Michael said. "Every family carries echoes of old agreements, spoken or unspoken pacts of bitterness, jealousy, pride. But when one soul chooses forgiveness, the entire bloodline begins to heal." The golden mist wrapped around you, filling you with warmth that seemed to flow through your bones. You felt centuries of silent struggle lifting. Your ancestors' sighs turned into blessings. "The enemy cannot track what is sanctified," Michael declared. "Your name, your house, your children, and every descendant after you now stand under divine encryption. No ritual, no curse, no gossip, no envy will ever cross the barrier again." He raised his sword once more, and a radiant seal appeared before you, an ancient sigil pulsing with blue light. It was made of letters not of earthly language but of heaven's vibration itself. "This is the seal of the living name," he said. "Wherever your name is spoken, in love or in malice, this seal will echo in the unseen realm. Every word sent against you will turn into light and return as blessing. Every whisper of darkness will be swallowed by your glow." You fell to your knees, trembling in awe. The energy was so intense it vibrated through your heart and fingertips. "Rise," Michael commanded. "You have completed the cycle. You are no longer under observation by darkness, you are now a watchtower of light. Others who are cursed will feel drawn to you. Your presence will burn through invisible chains. The mirror shattered, not into shards, but into motes of light that flew outward in all directions, like sparks of dawn. Each one carried healing. Each one carried freedom. It is done, Michael said. The one who spoke your name in darkness will dream of light. She will awaken confused, changed, humbled. The war for your name is over. He turned toward you, his eyes softer now. But never forget, my beloved, light must be maintained. Do not engage in gossip. Do not answer bitterness with words. Speak peace, and your seal will remain impenetrable. The moment you react in anger, you open a door again. Guard your calm as your crown. The scene began to dissolve. The silver mist turned into soft sunrise, and Michael's form started to fade into it. His last words came as a whisper carried by divine wind. You were never cursed, you were chosen to expose the illusion of curses. Go now, and teach others that no darkness survives forgiveness. You opened your eyes. You were back in your room. The candle from the night before had burned out completely, but in its wax, you saw it, a perfect imprint of a six-pointed star glowing faintly gold. Heaven had signed your deliverance. Heaven says, darkness survives through silence, but dies through forgiveness. No curse can live in a heart that has chosen light. Tap like if you receive this divine protection, subscribe for more Archangel Michael revelations, and comment, "My name is sealed in light." Because once God marks you, even your enemies will forget how to find you. The day after Michael sealed your name, everything around you seemed to breathe differently. The air carried peace, the silence was no longer empty but sacred. You noticed the way the sun touched your window, it lingered longer, warmer, as though heaven itself was watching over your home. But beneath that serenity, something deeper was stirring, an unseen current, a new divine assignment. That night, as you drifted into prayer, your room filled again with that familiar golden vibration. The voice came, radiant and resolute. Beloved, Archangel Michael said, when heaven breaks a curse, it does not stop there. What darkness meant for destruction becomes the seed of restoration. Every tear you shed, every night you spent in confusion, it will now bear fruit for generations. The floor beneath you began to shimmer. You saw visions unfolding before your eyes, your family line as a tree of light stretching through time. Its roots reached deep into the earth, its branches extending far beyond the stars. But many of those roots were blackened, wounded by the same energies that had once sought to destroy you. Look closely, Michael said. These are the agreements of old, the silent wounds passed from one generation to the next. They feed on secrecy, pride, and fear. But you, child of light, have chosen forgiveness, and that choice has rewritten your lineage. He touched the tree with the tip of his sword, and instantly, every dark root began to burn with blue fire. The pain that had been hidden in generations before you, betrayal, poverty, loss, illness, started to dissolve into light. The tree groaned once, then exhaled. From its trunk, a surge of golden sap flowed upward, transforming every branch, every leaf, until the entire tree shimmered with divine brilliance. "It is done," Michael declared. "From this day forward, your bloodline is no longer chained to the pain of its past. Those who come after you will walk lighter. Where they would have faced loss, they will now encounter grace. Where poverty would have returned, abundance will reign. You have closed the gates of sorrow and opened the river of inheritance." You felt the energy move through your body, down your spine, and into the earth. It was as if your heartbeat synchronized with the pulse of heaven itself. The air filled with the scent of rain and lilies. The atmosphere glowed with unseen color. "You must understand," Michael continued, "that restoration is never quiet. When heaven rewrites destiny, creation celebrates. Expect blessings to arrive in waves. People who once turned against you will feel conviction. Doors you thought were locked will open without keys. And the dreams you once buried out of fear will begin to sprout again." You began to weep, not out of sadness, but release. Every tear felt like a lifetime leaving your spirit. You saw flashes of your future, your home filled with light, your children walking without fear, your name being spoken in rooms where honor lived. "This," Michael said, "is what the enemy never foresaw, that the very curse they formed would become the wind beneath your destiny." Then his tone deepened, more serious, almost like a command wrapped in tenderness. "But remember, the light must circulate. When you receive, you must give. Restoration dies in a closed hand. Bless others freely, especially those who cannot repay. For every act of kindness you perform, heaven multiplies your shield. The river that begins with you must not end with you." The air shimmered again, and you saw a massive gate appear in the distance, glowing gold, etched with symbols that looked alive. At the center of the gate was your name, surrounded by light. "What is that?" you asked. Michael's wings stretched across the sky. "That is the gate of multiplication," he said. "It opens only when heaven decides a life has been fully turned from pain to purpose. Everything stolen from your bloodline, time, wealth, health, joy, will now return through this gate, multiplied sevenfold." He placed his hand over your heart, and the world fell silent again. "You will notice miracles in the next 3 days," he said. "Not random coincidences, but deliberate signs. A message from an old friend, a sudden opportunity, an unexpected apology, each will be a key, unlocking what has been waiting. Do not question it. Receive it with gratitude." He began to fade, but his last words hung in the room like sunlight that refused to die. "The woman who cursed you will soon kneel, not before you, but before her own conscience. Pray for her redemption. Her awakening is part of your victory. Forgiveness was your sword. Love was your weapon. And peace is your reward." As his light vanished, the candle by your bedside reignited on its own. The flame flickered 3 times and steadied, glowing blue at the core, a divine confirmation. You felt a hand rest on your shoulder, invisible but unmistakable. Heaven had not just protected you, it had promoted you. The curse that sought your ruin had become the foundation of your restoration. The story that began in fear had been rewritten by faith. You looked at the candle's light and whispered through tears, "It's over, and it's beginning." Heaven says, What was sent to destroy you has become your inheritance. When you forgive, you activate a law older than the stars, the law of divine reversal. Tap like if you receive this blessing, subscribe for more Archangel Michael revelations, and comment, "My curse turned into light." Because when heaven restores, it never returns what was lost, it multiplies it. That night, your sleep came slow and heavy, not from exhaustion but from spiritual overflow. The energy in your home was different, cleaner, sharper, almost humming. It was as if unseen hands had rearranged the air itself. Even your breath felt purer. As your body drifted into rest, your spirit was taken somewhere beyond dreams, a luminous place between heaven and earth, where Archangel Michael awaited you. His wings were folded, his eyes glowing like molten gold. Around him shimmered 12 pillars of light, each resonating with divine vibration. "My beloved," he said, "the restoration is sealed. But heaven will never leave you blind. Over the next 3 days, you will receive confirmation, physical, undeniable signs that your deliverance has been witnessed by heaven itself. These are not coincidences. They are divine codes." You listened closely as he began to reveal the 3-day mystery, each day carrying its own sign. Day 1, the sign of the breath. Michael raised his sword, and the air rippled like water. "On the first day," he said, "heaven will send you the sign of the breath. You will feel a sudden calm, a silence between thoughts that was never there before. It might come as a soft breeze on your skin, or as a peace that enters your heart while chaos surrounds you. Do not dismiss it. It is the breath of God passing over you, confirming the curse has turned into light." He continued, "When this happens, take a deep breath and say aloud, 'The breath of heaven fills me. I am free, I am new, I am sealed in light.' Every word will vibrate into your reality, sealing your deliverance into the physical world." You nodded, feeling a current of energy move through your lungs, gentle yet powerful. Day 2, the sign of reflection. Michael extended his hand, and suddenly you were standing beside a river of liquid light. It flowed silently, reflecting the stars above, yet when you looked closer, the stars mirrored were not constellations, they were names. Your ancestors. Your families. On the second day, Michael said, you will encounter a reflection, something or someone from your past that resurfaces. It may be a message, a memory, or a person you haven't spoken to in years. Do not fear this. Heaven is showing you that what once was broken is being rewritten. This reflection will remind you of how far you have come. The river flows forward, not back. He placed a finger on the river, and a ripple spread outward, carrying your name across the glowing water. When this happens, he said, look into it and say, what was wounded is now wise. What was lost is now light. That single phrase will transform your past into power. Day 3, the sign of the call. The air changed, brighter, warmer, almost blinding. The third day, Michael said, will bring the sign of the call. You will hear your name unexpectedly, through a song, a stranger, a message, a random video. Heaven will echo your identity back to you. This is how you'll know your name has been rewritten in the divine registry. When you hear it, stop everything, place your hand on your heart, and whisper, I answer, I awaken, I ascend. The moment you do, heaven will open the gate of multiplication. You could feel it already, the universe aligning, unseen threads rearranging. Michael's wings spread wide, his light expanding until it filled the entire space. "Do not rush the signs," he said. "They will come precisely when your spirit is still enough to notice them. Each sign is not proof, it is partnership. Heaven will not just prove your freedom, it will teach you to live inside it." You asked, "What should I do once all three appear?" Michael smiled, his voice soft but commanding. "When you recognize the third sign, give thanks. Speak to heaven as a friend, not a beggar. Say, 'It is done.' Then, take one action in the physical world that mirrors your inner victory. Clean a room, call someone you love, forgive an old wound, or start a project you've delayed. Every earthly movement made in gratitude becomes spiritual confirmation." The vision began to fade, but before it disappeared completely, Michael's final words echoed through the space. "The enemy works in shadows, but heaven works in patterns. Pay attention, beloved, for miracles wear ordinary disguises. Over the next 3 days, heaven will show you that every storm was only training for the sunlight that now belongs to you." You opened your eyes slowly. The room was bathed in the first rays of dawn. On your phone, a notification blinked from an unknown number, just a single line. "Breathe. You're free now." Tears welled in your eyes. You didn't recognize the sender. But you didn't have to. Heaven had your number. Heaven says, over the next 3 days, pay attention, your freedom will speak to you through signs. A breeze, a reflection, a call, each one heaven's whisper saying, "You are restored." Tap like if your spirit feels this truth, subscribe for more Archangel Michael messages, and comment, "I'm ready for my 3-day miracle." Because what God starts in secret always finishes in light. The third dawn rose unlike any other. The air felt alive, soft golden light filled the room, wrapping you in warmth that carried a pulse. You could feel the rhythm of heaven in your veins. Every breath you took seemed to echo a deeper truth, something was about to shift forever. Then, the sound came. Not loud, almost like a melody hidden in the wind. It was your name, whispered gently yet powerfully enough to shake the air. You froze, recognizing what it meant. Archangel Michael's promise had arrived. "Beloved," his voice came through the light, "you have crossed the threshold. The 3 signs are complete. The gate of multiplication stands before you now. The curse that was meant to limit you has become the key that multiplies your blessings." Before your eyes, a vast structure appeared in radiant vision, a gate made of translucent light, carved with symbols older than time. It was neither metal nor stone, it was alive, breathing, aware of you. The moment you looked upon it, the symbols began to move like flowing energy. Each stroke carried divine language, forming words your soul understood even if your mind could not. Michael stood beside you, his wings spanning across the horizon. "Every human walks through gates every day," he said. "Some lead to loss, others to delay. But this gate is rare, it opens only when faith has defeated fear. Yours has." You felt your chest tighten, not from fear, but awe. The gate pulsed again, brighter. Behind this gate, Michael continued, are the blessings held back by your ancestors' sorrow and your own doubts. Wealth that was delayed. Health that was stolen. Love that was blocked. Every ounce of goodness heaven promised but darkness diverted, all waits here. The air vibrated with divine electricity. But remember, Michael said, you cannot enter carrying fear, anger, or revenge. These are weights. To walk through, you must be empty enough for abundance to fill you. You closed your eyes and whispered, I release it all. Instantly, the heaviness in your heart broke. Memories, pain, resentment, they floated upward like smoke dissolving into starlight. The moment the last trace left, the gate of multiplication opened with a thunderous silence, a sound too holy to describe. A torrent of light surged outward, not blinding but restorative. It hit your chest with the warmth of 1,000 suns yet felt like mercy. You gasped, tears spilling down your cheeks as the light flooded your being. This, Michael said, is inheritance reactivated. What was delayed for decades is released in a single moment. Every no that hurt you is rewritten as yes. You saw flashes, doors unlocking, debts cancelled, estranged hearts reconciling, health restored, unexpected promotions, blessings that felt unreal. But they were real, and they were yours. Michael extended his sword toward the flood of light. This is not magic, he said. It is the mathematics of heaven. Faith multiplies because it never subtracts, it adds light to darkness until darkness becomes light itself. He turned his gaze toward you. But you must guard this energy, he warned gently. The same way fire cooks food but can burn a house, blessing must be handled with intention. Speak with gratitude. Think with humility. Give before you are asked. That is how the flow remains open. The gates slowly began to fade into your heart, the light sinking into your very soul. You could feel its rhythm pulsing inside you, like the heartbeat of the universe. The gate is now within you, Michael said. Wherever you walk, multiplication follows. Your touch will heal, your words will open paths, your forgiveness will rebuild nations. You will notice it, people will feel peace near you and not know why. That is the residue of heaven upon you. A radiant circle appeared beneath your feet, forming runes of gold that intertwined like rivers. Michael lifted his hand, and a single symbol glowed brighter, a 7-pointed star. This is the mark of divine completion, he explained. In 7 weeks, the effects of this release will be visible to all. But for you, the shift begins now. You will notice synchronicities, numbers, songs, messages from unlikely places. These are heaven's receipts, proof that your miracle was processed. The light softened. You felt your surroundings return, your room, your bed, your breath, but everything vibrated higher. It was as though reality itself had been polished. You looked at your hands. They shimmered faintly, a golden hue that flickered like sunlight through glass. You are no longer who you were, Michael said one last time. You are a keeper of increase, a vessel of multiplication. The curse has become your covenant. He raised his sword high, then pressed the blade gently to your forehead. Go, he said, and turn your blessings into blessings for others. For what you share will never leave you, it will only grow. And then he was gone. The room stilled again, but in your heart, you could still hear his final whisper echo through eternity. When light multiplies, even shadows bow. Heaven says, the gate of multiplication has opened. Everything stolen from your life will now return multiplied. Over the next 7 weeks, you will see proof in signs, people, and prosperity. Tap like if you feel this shift, subscribe for more Archangel Michael revelations, and comment, "My gate is open." Because when God multiplies, He never adds, He overflows. The night after the gate of multiplication opened, you woke with a radiant warmth in your chest, not a dream, not imagination, but something living. The air itself had changed. Every sound felt lighter, every breath deeper. You didn't realize it then, but the 7-week transformation had already begun. As you sat up, Archangel Michael's voice entered your awareness again, calm yet commanding, filled with that same thunderous love that makes the soul tremble in awe. "Beloved," he said, "heaven does not end a miracle, it unfolds it. For 7 weeks, you will walk through the corridors of transformation. Each week carries a divine frequency, a key that opens a higher version of you. These 7 phases are not random, they are written into your soul's architecture." The room dissolved, and suddenly you were standing inside a vast temple made entirely of light. 7 pillars surrounded you, each carved with glowing sigils and vibrating with a distinct hue. "Each pillar represents a week," Michael said. "Each week builds upon the last. You must walk through them in faith, not fear. What you experience will look like ordinary life, but heaven hides its power in simplicity." Week 1, the pillar of alignment. The first week, Michael explained, is when the universe rearranges itself around your new vibration. People may disappear. Some opportunities may close. Do not mourn. It is not rejection, it is realignment. Heaven removes what cannot rise with you. He raised his hand, and you saw a door close in light, followed by another opening wider and brighter. When doors close, say, "Only alignment remains." That single sentence will turn loss into divine positioning. Week 2, the pillar of courage. This week, Michael continued, you will face the echo of your old fears. The enemy always tests the door you just locked. Do not run. Stand. Fear is an illusion begging to be healed. The pillar glowed red, warm, not burning. When anxiety rises, he said, place your hand on your heart and whisper, "Courage is the proof that faith is alive." Then take one small action that fear told you not to. Each act of courage doubles your energy. Week 3, the pillar of restoration. This pillar shone emerald green, the color of divine healing. You could almost smell the scent of rain and renewal. Now, Michael said, you will begin to see visible restoration, in health, relationships, and finances. The things that broke will quietly mend. Heaven restores silently, like dawn after a storm. He leaned closer, his voice soft as a prayer. When restoration begins, give thanks before you see the result. Gratitude accelerates manifestation. Week 4, the pillar of love. The fourth pillar bloomed with rose-colored light, radiating warmth so tender you could hardly breathe. This week, Michael said, heaven will reintroduce love, not necessarily romance, but the frequency of divine connection. You may meet someone who mirrors your soul's truth, or an old bond will return purified. Do not chase it, allow it. When love appears, he said, say, I receive without fear, I give without demand. That is how divine love stays. Week 5, the Pillar of Provision. A golden beam shot upward, and your entire being tingled with energy. Now the material world begins to bend toward you, Michael declared. Unexpected funds, new opportunities, divine connections, this is not luck. It is spiritual compensation for every delay you endured. When this happens, he said, do not hoard. Give. The first fruit of overflow belongs to light. As you release, the current grows stronger. Week 6, the Pillar of Purpose. The sixth pillar glowed violet and silver, majestic, sacred. This, Michael said, is the week when you remember why you were born. Heaven will whisper through intuition, through synchronicity, through sudden conviction. Do not doubt it. Your assignment will surface, not as pressure but as peace. He placed his hand over your crown. Say, I am available for what God designed. That statement opens your spiritual contract. Week 7, the Pillar of Legacy. Finally, the last pillar blazed white, so bright it outshone everything else. The seventh week, Michael said, is not an ending. It is a sealing. Everything you have healed, everything you have received, will now extend beyond you. Your family, friends, even strangers will begin to rise because of your vibration. You become a walking field of grace. When this week comes, he continued, say, my light is not mine, it belongs to the world. That is how legacies are born. The temple pulsed once, and the 7 pillars merged into a single beam that descended into your body, integrating every frequency, every blessing, every revelation. You were no longer just a receiver, you had become the transmitter of heaven's frequency. Michael's voice softened, now echoing through your soul instead of your ears. The miracle was never the gate, it was you becoming the gate. Wherever you go, heaven will follow. You bowed your head, overwhelmed, whispering through tears, I understand now. It was never about survival. It was about transformation. Yes, Michael said gently. And transformation never ends, it only deepens. The 7 weeks are not a countdown, they are a rebirth. When you emerge, the old world will no longer recognize you, because you will have become light itself. Heaven says, the 7 pillars have been activated. Over the next 7 weeks, your world will change in ways you cannot yet imagine. Stay aligned, stay grateful, and watch what happens when faith becomes form. Tap like if you claim this journey, subscribe for more Archangel Michael revelations, and comment, my 7 pillars are rising. Because once heaven starts multiplying, there's no returning to ordinary. The sun had barely risen when you noticed it, the world around you felt slightly different. Not louder, not brighter, clearer. Every small detail shimmered with meaning, as if creation itself was whispering. A feather on your doorstep. A clock repeating the same numbers. A song playing at the exact moment you thought of someone you loved. None of it was coincidence. It was communication. That morning, as you sipped your coffee, you heard the soft tone, the unmistakable vibration of divine presence. The room glowed faintly blue. And then, as always, Archangel Michael's voice descended, calm, resonant, holy. "Beloved," he said, "heaven never completes a miracle without leaving proof. The signs around you are not random, they are confirmations. The language of the divine is not words, but symbols. And now, you are fluent." You closed your eyes, letting his voice wash over your spirit like sunlight over water. "You will begin to see patterns," Michael continued. "Numbers, visions, dreams, songs, even small disruptions, they are heaven's handwriting. Do not ignore them. Every repetition is a signature of grace." The light in the room flickered and formed shapes, numbers glowing mid-air: 111, 333, 777, 999. Each pulsed with energy. "When you see 111, Michael said, it means the gate of creation is open. It is heaven asking, what do you want to birth? Do not think small. Speak your desire aloud, for the universe is listening. When you see 333, he continued, it is confirmation that divine assistance is present. You are not alone in any battle. It means the angels stand shoulder to shoulder beside you, defending what belongs to you. When you see 777, his voice softened, it is completion, a divine applause. Something you prayed for has finished in the invisible realm and is now moving toward the visible. Give thanks before it arrives." And when you see 999, Michael said finally, it means one chapter has closed for good. Do not reopen old doors. The light ahead is brighter than the nostalgia behind you. The glowing numbers dissolved into mist, and you found yourself surrounded by a swirl of symbols, white feathers, keys, circles of light. Each one felt alive. "These signs will not only appear around you," Michael explained. "They will appear through you. The dreams you dream are not mere imagination, they are assignments. The songs that repeat in your mind carry frequencies of comfort. The chills that rise on your skin are heaven's confirmation that truth has entered your body." A sudden warmth filled your spine, your heart expanded. You could feel it, the entire universe communicating through synchronicity. "This is how heaven speaks to the awakened," Michael said. "You will receive messages through electricity, intuition, even timing. When something delays you unexpectedly, it may be protection. When a stranger speaks a phrase that hits your heart, it may be prophecy. Heaven uses everything." He paused, his wings unfolding like galaxies behind him. "But understand this, the proof is not for your ego, it is for your faith. When signs appear, do not worship them, acknowledge them. They are road signs, not destinations." You whispered, "How do I know what they mean?" Michael raised his sword and traced a glowing circle around you. "Ask your heart, not your mind. The heart already knows." The moment you notice a sign, close your eyes and ask, "What does this remind me of?" The answer that arrives instantly, without thought, is the one heaven intended. The more you trust it, the clearer it becomes. The air rippled, and suddenly, visions flashed before you, faces of people you had helped unknowingly, prayers you had whispered that were already answered, paths you had changed by simply walking in light. These are your proofs, Michael said. You are not waiting for miracles, you are the miracle. Heaven documents your obedience in blessings. He lifted his hand once more, and the sky above you unfolded like a scroll. Written across it in living flame were the words, "The proof is you." Tears flooded your eyes as warmth spread through your body, dissolving every remaining trace of doubt. From this day forward, Michael continued, the unseen will walk beside you in the seen. You will hear whispers that guide you away from danger, dreams that show you the future, numbers that confirm your alignment. These are not coincidences, they are coordinates. Each one points you closer to your destiny. The light around you began to fade, but before it disappeared, he spoke again, his voice both thunder and tenderness. When the proof appears, do not keep it silent. Tell others what heaven has done. Testimonies are seeds, they plant faith in hearts that have forgotten light. Every time you speak of divine proof, you multiply it. You inhaled deeply, and the final words echoed like eternity. The signs will not stop until your soul believes without needing them. That is when you will walk not by sight, but by knowing. The vision faded. Morning sunlight filled your room again. A bird tapped the window thrice before flying away. You smiled, heaven had begun its proof. Heaven says, every sign, every number, every dream is a language between you and God. Don't chase them, listen to them. Tap like if you've begun noticing divine patterns, subscribe for more Archangel Michael revelations, and comment, I am walking in proof. Because the evidence of heaven is not around you, it's within you. That night, sleep did not come quickly. The signs of heaven still played through your day like a soft melody, the repeated numbers, the feather that fell on your windowsill, the way your name seemed to echo in unexpected moments. You lay in the stillness, feeling gratitude so deep it almost hurt. And then, without realizing, your breathing slowed, your body relaxed, and your spirit slipped into a realm beyond dreams, a place too real to be imagination. It began with silence, not empty silence, but the kind that hums with presence. You stood in a field of light that stretched endlessly in every direction. The ground beneath your feet wasn't soil but living energy, pulsing like a heartbeat. Above, the sky glowed with liquid gold, rippling with warmth and divine consciousness. And then, from the horizon, a massive radiance emerged, brighter than the sun, yet tender enough not to blind you. From within that light stepped Archangel Michael. His armor shone like a mirror of heaven itself, and his wings spanned eternity, each feather reflecting galaxies. When he spoke, the vibration moved through your entire being. Beloved, he said, you have walked through fear, through loss, through fire. You have forgiven what tried to destroy you. You have learned that the curse was never the end, it was the doorway. Now, the final revelation awaits, who you truly are. The air around you rippled, and suddenly thousands of luminous beings appeared, angels, ancestors, souls who carried light across ages. They formed a great circle around you, their voices merging into a single sound, not words, but pure harmony. Michael lifted his sword and pointed it toward your heart. A beam of blue light shot forth and wrapped around you like silk. You gasped as memories you didn't know you had began to awaken, flashes of other lives, realms, missions. You are not here by chance, Michael continued. You were part of heaven's first agreement, the covenant of keepers. Before the world was formed, there were souls chosen to carry divine frequency into matter, to remind humanity of its origin. You are one of them. You fell to your knees, trembling. But I am only human, you whispered. Michael smiled, a radiant, knowing smile that held both strength and compassion. Human, yes, but housed within the echo of eternity. The divine spark within you is not borrowed. It is original. You are a fragment of the light that was present when the universe was sung into being. He walked closer, placing the tip of his sword over your forehead. The light entered your mind, and instantly your perception expanded. You saw yourself not as flesh and bone, but as energy, threads of golden light woven through creation itself. You saw moments from your life, the pain, the tears, the small acts of kindness, all of it forming a pattern that looked exactly like a constellation. This, Michael said softly, is your soul's geometry, the design heaven created before your first breath. Every hardship you faced realigned a star in this constellation. Every forgiveness brightened another. You are not being tested, you are being tuned. The circle of angels began to hum louder. Waves of light moved through the field, each pulse carrying love so profound it made you weep. You understood now, the signs, the numbers, the visions, they were never random. They were coordinates leading you back to remembrance. Michael spoke again, his voice like music forged from thunder. When you entered this world, you agreed to forget who you were so you could remember through experience. That remembrance was the journey. You were never separate from God, only sleeping in divine disguise. You looked down at your hands, they glowed with the same golden current that surrounded Michael. The truth struck your heart like lightning made of love, you were made of the same light. Now you understand, Michael said. You were never waiting for heaven. Heaven was waiting for you to remember you were part of it. He extended his wings, wrapping them around you in a radiant embrace. You felt every ounce of fear, guilt, and limitation dissolve. You weren't a victim of fate, you were a co-creator with the divine. The realization spread through every cell, you were both dust and divinity. Your true identity, Michael whispered, is not your name, your past, or your pain. You are a keeper of light, a living continuation of heaven's will. The darkness feared you not because you were weak, but because you were waking. You fell to your knees, overwhelmed. What do I do with this now? You asked. Michael placed his sword in the ground, and light rippled outward like waves across eternity. Live it, he said. Walk as the proof. Love as the miracle. Forgive as the sword. Speak as heaven's echo. You were sent here not to escape the world, but to illuminate it. The angels around you raised their hands, and a golden crown of light descended upon your head, weightless, yet eternal. You are sealed, Michael declared. Your name glows in the book of light, no longer as a seeker but as a sender. Wherever your feet walk, I walk with you. Wherever your words reach, heaven will follow. The vision began to fade. The field dissolved into the faint glow of your room, but the light didn't leave you, it was you. You felt your pulse synchronized with something divine, every heartbeat whispering, I am part of heaven's body. A single feather drifted from nowhere, landing softly beside your hand. Its tip shimmered blue. You smiled. The final proof was complete. Heaven says, you were never lost, you were only learning to remember. The angel you prayed to has been walking in your own skin. Tap like if this message resonates with your soul, subscribe for more Archangel Michael revelations, and comment, I remember who I am. Because once you awaken to your divine identity, darkness has no language left to reach you.